Hello, everybody. I recently had a chance to attend a concert at Kennedy Center, and I thought I would just share my experiences with it. This concert was a choral concert. It was by the Choral Arts Society of Washington, and the program was a world premiere commission um of a work called Battle-Flags, and this was by Zachary Wadsworth, and it is based on a portion of Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman, and it was really beautiful. And that was sort of the prelude then to Ein deutsches Requiem, a German Requiem by Johannes Brahms. So here is the program from the night. I attended the performance on November 15th. It was at 4 p.m. at Kennedy Center. The conductor was Scott Tucker. The soloist soprano was Yuanming Song, and the baritone soloist was Trevor Scheunemann. So I just wanted to, share my experience with the program with you all. So first, starting with the prelude, which was the premiere of the Battle Flags by Zachary Wadsworth. This poem, this section of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, it was just really beautiful. There's the text is here. I don't know if I should read all of it because it's kind of maybe it'd take too much time, but really it's just I'll read the last paragraph. I saw battle corpses, myriads of them, and the white skeletons of young men. I saw them. I saw the debris and debris of all the slain soldiers of the war. But I saw they were not as was thought. They themselves were fully at rest. They suffered not. The living remained and suffered. The mother suffered, and the wife and the child and the musing comrade suffered, and the armies that remained suffered. So I just this whole piece was so beautifully done. Walt Whitman wrote this following his experience in the American Civil War, and it was just very beautiful. The music to it was it actually sort of had a 19th century Civil War, American Civil War era feel to it, but it wasn't overly obvious, but it did sort of it did harken back to that to me in my that was my experience of it. So it didn't feel 19th century. It didn't feel Ken Burns documentary. It felt really appropriate. It really felt modern. But yet singing these words also felt so. Therefore, actually, these words felt modern. If I did not know that it was a Walt Whitman piece, then it definitely felt modern, and it was a wonderful prelude to then the Requiem that followed by Brahms. I should also say the weekend that I saw this on November 15th. So this was the weekend after the attacks in Paris by ISIS. So this was at the forefront of everybody's minds and emotions, and it wasn't mine anyway. Whenever I heard these two pieces actually. So the Requiem then followed after that without an intermission, that the Battle Flags piece, and the Requiem. So the Requiem's in I think it's 7 movements. The Requiem is considered by, when I looked this up, because I had never actually heard this before, so when I just sort of decided to go to this concert because I love choral music, and I saw that it was there, and I had been to another performance at the Symphony Orchestra the week prior, and they had a little insert, so that's why I decided to go, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I love choral music, and it was a premiere of a new work, which was the Battle Flags, and then I had never heard this Brahms choral work before. So that week I set out to learn. The week between when I decided to go, the night of the actual concert, I decided to, I did a little research on it and listened to it, some recordings on Spotify of it, just to sort of get my bearings on what the program was going to be. So I looked up a little bit about the the Requiem by Brahms, and so this was apparently considered his. It was considered a secular requiem. So most of the time, requiems are, it's a sacred. It's a form of sacred music. And so it's a religious based Christian sort of in the Christian religious tradition. So this is considered to be when it was first performed in the 19th century, it was considered secular or too secular by some accounts, and I think some clerics and whoever had tried to get Brahms to change it up a little bit and add some more, a little more religious overtones to it, and he refused. But it's still, by today's standards, it's still religious. It's still a sacred text. So, it's just beautiful though. And I should probably state that, I'm actually not a religious person. I consider myself a secular person, and I don't follow what I would consider a religion, any religion, and not a Christian one. But I do actually love some of the art forms that have come out over the last 1,000 years or so from the Christian tradition, and so I thought I might speak to that a little bit, because among other secularists, I've heard before criticism of this, as far as enjoying or finding any kind of meaning in religious art or religious music or architecture or this kind of thing. And I have always dismissed that because, to me, there was like 1,000 years where the Christian church in Europe controlled, it was the dominant force of art. So the best artists of Europe of the last 1,000 years really devoted their attention to it. So there's some really beautiful, meaningful pieces of some art from that have come out of that. Painting, sculpture. Who can look at the Pietà and not find that beautiful? Or Notre Dame in Paris, or cathedral probably in your own city is beautiful. And this Requiem was no different to me. I can hear the words, and it was sung in German, but the translation is in the playbill, and it starts out, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with them." So, I'm a complicated enough person that I can read that and not read it dogmatically as a religious text. I can read that as an expression of human meaning. And, it's talking about people. There's mourning. There's a time for mourning. So everyone's life, there's going to be time of mourning, but the mourning, the period will pass, and if there's sadness, then eventually there will be joy. And this is part, you can't, basically it's saying you can't have happiness without some sadness, So, and even some of the more, I guess, religious part of it, like, "For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord." So, I can read that, and I can see that it's saying everything is temporary, that people are like grass, they come and they go, and that this is a rhythm of life. And the reference then to "Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord," that just means the coming of the Lord just means, the beginning of the cycle again. So it's just birth and death, and life in between, and happiness and sadness. So, I can hear these kind of religious texts or religious music or religious texts and not feel threatened that it's trying to give me a religious message or trying to uh, or recoil in some kind of like horror because I'm a secularist person. To me, it's just the same as if I were hearing a hymn to Zeus or a poem to Isis or something. It's not something to me that should be shunned. Actually, I find a great comfort in it still. Even though, like I said, I'm not a religious person. I consider myself actually an atheist, a secularist. So I think this is um, why it's to me it's healthier to just read these texts and experience the art in general um, that has a religious theme or historically Christian theme, and to experience it on a different level. And I find that very nourishing. So that that program was a great experience. That was the first Choral Arts Society of Washington concert that I've gone to. I do plan on attending more when I see them when I can, because I do love a choral chorus. I do love choral music, and this chorus is very professional. It's very large. It's a symphonic chorus, so I didn't mention that, but it's professional here in Washington. So that's it. If you have heard either of these works, or also like choral or don't like choral, or want to share your experience with any of that, or with sacred music in general, feel free to leave a comment. Love to hear your comment. And anyway, until later, talk to you soon.